If you've been in a job market for any length of time, you've probably had interviews, and at the end of those interviews, they ask this question: do you have any questions for us? This question is probably one of the most overthought, and people make this way more complicated than it needs to be. It's an opportunity to be conversational with the interview panel and learn more about the role. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad advice about this question. As someone who sat on the other side of the interview table, I've seen a lot of just bad questions asked by applicants at this stage. Today, I want to bring you three categories of questions that you absolutely want to avoid when you are asked this question. If you're interested in more job seeking and career content, kindly click that subscribe button and let's get into it. The first category of questions that you don't want to ask is anything that shows a lack of employer knowledge. You don't want to ask anything along the lines of, what do you guys do here? What is my day-to-day going to look like? Who's your main competitor? Guys, we live in the modern era. We have internet at our fingertips and our cell phones. There's so much ability to do research on the employer that you're putting in for. You can not only research the company, you can look at reviews from people who already work there. You can reach out to people who already work there or previously worked there on LinkedIn. There's so much opportunity to get the research done for these questions that you shouldn't be asking them to the interview panel. All these questions do is show that you are mindlessly throwing out applications and you don't have a real interest in working in that specific role. What shows us that you have an actual interest in the company is showing that you've done some of that research. So if you start your question with, hey, I got on your website and I seen that, this is your strategic mission. How is this role going to support that mission? That is showing interest in the role. And it also shows that you actually have an interest in the company itself because you've gone on there and done the research. You're not just mindlessly sitting. You're not just asking questions for the sake of asking. You truly want to know about the company and your role and how you're going to support their work. So the second category of questions that you don't want to ask an interviewer is anything that is going to indicate that you are a poor performer. Questions in this realm are going to be stuff like, how often do you drug test? Do you monitor internet usage? How much sick time am I going to get? Anything in this realm is not going to instill a lot of confidence in the interviewer that you are who they're looking for and that you're here to perform. It looks to the interviewer like you're just kind of here to slack off, or, maybe you're going to call in more than you should be, or you're overall just not going to be a great fit for the company. Instead, you want to ask questions that are going to show positive performance indication. So these are going to be questions about like career trajectory. Now you don't want to ask, hey, how soon can I promote? Obviously you're applying for this role. You're not applying for, whatever it is you want to promote into, but you can ask about career trajectory, which is like, where do you expect someone in this role to be within 3 to 5 years? A question like this shows that you're interested in the role and you're interested in progressing in that role, not necessarily that you're looking to move to another unit or you're looking to gain a quick promotion or anything like that. You want to show interest in this role. Another question you can ask is about quick wins. What is a quick win you would like to see out of someone in this role in their first 30 to 90 days? A question like that shows that you not only want to achieve, but you want to achieve quickly. These are the kind of questions that show that you have interest in the role, in that specific role, and you are looking to do well and to perform. The third bracket of questions are going to be ones that I think interviewers absolutely hate the most. And these are your cliches. What does my day-to-day look like? What is the company culture like? Are there opportunities to promote? These are not questions that you want to be asking the interviewer. They've heard it a million times. So many people give advice to ask these questions because they think it shows interest in the role, but that's just not the case. You're not showing that you've done any real research into the company, and you're just there to ask a question because someone told you that you have to ask questions at the end of an interview. It's almost better to ask nothing than to ask one of these cliche questions that's going to be heard 1,000 times. So there you have it. That's the top 3 question categories to completely avoid when you sit in on these interviews. They don't show any motivation. They don't show that you are a good fit for the role. My biggest advice here is to take time to research the company and the role as much as you can and ask specific motivated questions that show that you have a real interest in that role. This is what you want to do and that you are the person that they should pick for this role. Again, thank you for joining me today. If you want more content like this, click that subscribe button and I will see you in the next one.